There's something about you that unsettles people, and it's not what you say, it's what you carry. They smile to your face but tremble in your shadow. They fear you like a demon fears light. And the truth is, they'd been hiding why. Now let's expose it. You're not like them. And they know it. Even if they never say it out loud, their energy confesses it before their mouth does. You walk into a room, and suddenly people get tense. Their conversations shift. Their eyes twitch. Their smiles become forced. Because something in their spirit recognizes your presence as a threat, not to their body, but to their illusions. See, chosen one, you don't have to speak a word to be dangerous. Your silence is louder than their bragging. Your calm disturbs their chaos. Your mere existence reveals the false masks they're wearing, and that scares them more than anything. What they fear isn't your face, it's your frequency. What they're hiding is their inability to manipulate or control you. You're too intuitive, too spiritually alert, too inwardly armed. They fear you because you see through them. And that level of clarity is rare in a world built on deception. When you walk into a room, the energy changes, and people feel it, even if they pretend not to. You are what they pretend to be. You are what they claim to understand. You are the mirror that reflects what they're running from. That's why they talk about you behind closed doors. That's why they throw shade and call it humor. That's why they try to humble you with fake advice or calculated silence. Because when you walk in truth, it automatically disrupts lies. And they are living lies. You didn't choose to be feared. You didn't ask to carry this level of energy. You were chosen for it, designed for it, born for it. And they've always known, long before you knew yourself. That's why you were targeted early, bullied in silence, isolated without reason, rejected before you had a chance to speak. The world sensed your light and responded with shadow. Not because you're evil, because you're potent. You don't fit into their systems. You don't need validation to feel powerful. That terrifies people who are addicted to attention and applause. You're not a performer. You're a presence. And a true presence exposes empty performance. That's why you trigger them. Not because you're loud, but because your silence demands reflection. And most people can't handle reflection. They run from their shadows. But you faced yours. You integrated your darkness. You walked through your own fire. And now you radiate with something that can't be faked. Power, peace, presence. That's what they fear. That's what they hide. That's why they gossip behind your back and smile in your face. Because when someone's soul is misaligned, your energy feels like confrontation. Even when you're being kind, you're not attacking them. Your spirit is just vibrating at a frequency that makes their demons nervous. They've never seen someone like you. Someone who can't be baited into drama. Someone who doesn't need a crowd to feel complete. Someone who can sit alone for days and still emerge with more clarity than most people find in a lifetime. You are spiritually self-sufficient. You don't need their approval, and they can sense that. That's what scares them most. Because in a world where everyone is selling their identity for likes and followers, you've chosen truth. You've chosen solitude. You've chosen to grow quietly. And that silent growth is what's shaking them to their core. They can't place you. They can't predict you. They can't label you. So instead, they fear you, demonize you, or worse, imitate you. They steal your words, mimic your style, copy your essence, hoping they can manufacture what comes to you naturally. But imitation can never match intuition, and real knows real. That's why you have so few real friends. Why people love your light, but can't stand to sit in it too long. Why you attract attention, but not always support. You are a disruptor, a revealer, a walking contradiction to everything fake around you. And when a soul has built its life around a lie, someone like you is the most dangerous thing in the room. Because you carry a spiritual mirror, and when people look into that mirror, they don't always like what they see. Not because you judged them, but because their own reflection became undeniable. You see, the chosen one doesn't need to destroy anyone. Just by standing in truth, you expose everything that isn't. And that's why they fear you like a shadow demon fears the sun. Because your light doesn't fight, it reveals. It doesn't argue, it illuminates. It doesn't chase, it attracts. And the ones who fear being seen will always feel unsafe around the truly seen. They hide behind laughter. They hide behind power games. They hide behind intellectual superiority or spiritual arrogance. But you hide nothing. Your transparency is your weapon. Your vulnerability is your shield. And your spirit, it's untouchable. Not because it's perfect, but because it's real. And in a world drowning in projection, the real ones shine like lightning in the dark. So remember this, their fear of you isn't personal. It's spiritual. It's ancestral. It's energetic. You remind them of everything they buried, everything they ran from, everything they could never be without first dying to their ego. You didn't make them afraid. You just refused to shrink. And that was enough to awaken every shadow they tried to suppress. And so they fear you, not because you did something wrong, but because you finally stopped apologizing for who you are. You finally stepped into your own power without waiting for permission. You stopped dimming your light to make others feel comfortable in their darkness. And that shift, that's when everything changed. You began to walk with divine authority. Not arrogance, but awareness. Awareness of who you are. Awareness of what you carry. Awareness of what you're here to do. And when a chosen one awakens, the shadows start to scatter. That's when you noticed people pulling away, acting weird, turning cold, whispering behind your back. It wasn't your imagination. It wasn't paranoia. It was spiritual sensitivity. You felt the shift because your spirit was no longer tolerating what your soul outgrew. You've entered the season of spiritual separation. And it hurts, but it's necessary. Because God isn't going to let you carry dead weight into your destiny. He won't allow the manipulative, the jealous, or the energy vampires to come with you into your next level. That's why you had to walk alone. Not because you're unlovable, but because you're too valuable to be contaminated by the wrong company. You're not crazy. You're not antisocial. You're not too deep. You're just vibrating higher. And those still living in fear will always mislabel what they don't understand. They fear you because you can't be manipulated with guilt. They fear you because you're not impressed by superficial power. They fear you because you see the truth in their eyes before they speak. You are the spiritual lie detector in their environment. And trust me, they know it. That's why they test you, why they push your buttons, why they try to pull you into meaningless arguments, because they're hoping to distract you from what you're becoming. But they're too late. You've already transformed. The version of you that used to beg for friendship, chase validation, or water yourself down to fit in, that virgin has died. Now you walk in purpose. Now you speak with discernment. Now you move in silence and strike in alignment. And that makes you dangerous, not to the innocent, but to the deceivers. You're no longer controlled by fear. You've learned how to sit in it, breathe through it, and walk past it. That's why God gave you the kind of spiritual power that can destroy your enemies without lifting a finger. Because the most powerful chosen ones don't need revenge. They just elevate. And when you elevate, the ones who were pretending to be above you get exposed for what they truly are. Empty. The truth is, they never hated you. They hated the version of them that stood next to you. Because next to you, they couldn't hide their insecurity. Next to you, they couldn't fake their wisdom. Next to you, their spiritual masks began to crack, and they resented you for it. But now it's time to stop explaining yourself. Stop apologizing for the way God made you. Stop shrinking when you were born to stand out. You are not a mistake. You are not too intense. You are not too much. You are exactly what this world needed, but didn't expect. That's why they're afraid of you. Because you don't follow the script. You don't serve the system. You don't need their platform to build your purpose. They fear you because you're real in a world addicted to fake. And the real ones. We don't come to fit in. We come to break cycles, to challenge norms, to raise the vibration of every space we enter. So let them fear you. Let them whisper. Let them roll their eyes and avoid your presence. Because guess what? Even in silence, your name carries weight. Even in absence, your energy echoes. Even when they try to erase you, they can't forget you. Because when a chosen one touches a space, it never remains the same. You're not here to be liked. You're here to awaken. You're here to expose. You're here to elevate. And yes, your energy will make them uncomfortable. But that's not your burden to carry. It's their soul begging for alignment. The light inside you isn't meant to make everyone feel cozy. Sometimes it's meant to burn through illusions.